Baraha. Baraha. See, also these 3D printed speakers. Yes. And the thing is, you can 3D print them at home, and they'll sell you the kit with all the connectors and the crossover stuff and the drivers, and then you could do whatever you want. Or you go online and you could order the completely built set with different colors for the back and the front and the faceplates, and I got all the different colored faceplates, and you get them in, they're blue and red, and you can get red and blue or purple if you want to combine the two, and you get purple. Anyway, hello. These are the Deposition Sound FDM5. Wait, hold on. Let's go to the site. Wallpaper available in the wallpaper horde. These are, by the way, this website was freaking me out because it took so long to load. I could just throw these around. Yeah, I get it. They're 3D. FDM5s. Now you could print it yourself, which is this kit for $220 sale price. So you get all the parts to make the insides go. Or you just say, fuck it, and you go 420 YOLO swag. I should have released this video on 420. Damn it. And you could do all the different choices of different ring colors, orange, and then the black or the white, and the white or the black. And you just, I don't know if you could actually do two different ones. Maybe if you emailed them, you could be like, I want red and blue, which is what I obviously asked for specifically, was red and blue. So I could do red and blue for $420, for completely built. So now the real question becomes, Zeos, is it worth it? Because $420 is still not a cheap amount of money. In fact, I know for a fact, hand to God, you can get better speakers than this for $420. Because you could buy a set of the Klipsch RP 600Ms Mark 1s, and you could probably get those on sale for that. But this isn't about just pure sound quality and I want the best bang for the buck. This is about you actually taking your hands into the hobby and doing something different. You see, because they're 3D printing this, and there's a good picture. Wait, go back to the other website. Back to this one. Scroll down. Here's them printing all the parts in a bamboo, which is probably means it prints in 7 seconds. There's a crossover design. I haven't been like excited for DIY stuff in a hot minute. And it's not because I'm a terrible person. I mean, I have a fucking wood shop basically in the corner of the basement over here. It's like, hey, do you want to build speakers? Well, what you're going to need is you're going to need a compressor and a drill press and a bandsaw and a chop saw. And I got a laser engraver, and I got more 3D printers out here, and I got a vise and a table and all these fucking connectors and screws. And my Soundcars with a blown channel, and they don't sell it anymore. I got an artwork I found in the trash, so I have wood, and I could do something with this if I wanted to do like full DIY speaker builds. Unfortunately, I'm up to my nipples in speakers that have to be reviewed and everything. And it makes building my own set of speakers kind of like weeks and weeks of doing things and planning and trying and redoing and then gluing and screwing and then building. And I would be done. And while I would be proud of that end result, I can't put myself through it. I'd rather take something that's not my job and spend the time in there with my hobby, like do some sim racing stuff, which I got to get back into once I repair everything else, or build a giant one-to-one weeb anime scale figures. That's another thing I could be doing in the wood shop. But having a 3D printed speaker, and here's the thing, they sound decent. I think you could even, if you got the kit, you could probably swap out the biggest mode of contention I have with them is the tweeter. They're just saying soft dome tweeter. I don't know the actual brand. Is a little bit sharp, and it's not supposed to be. They're actually calling about for enhanced, provide smoothness, blah, blah, blah. The tweeter feels like the cheapest part of this build. But then you think about it for a second. All right, think about this for a second. Let's say you ordered a kit from them for the $220, and the only thing you decided not to use was a tweeter. And let's say you're 3D printing it yourself. You're going to be getting the files to slice and put the thing. You could just modify them slightly. You can put any tweeter you fucking want in here, with exceptions of what's, dimensionally accurate or could fit. Because the little 5 1/4 is kicking ass. And here's the thing. Although I was trying to show you the thing. they've designed this to print with internal bracing, because that's one of the problems with, like, okay, I've 3D printed a box. It's not as stiff as wood. You know, wood, fucking aluminum, plastic. I get a little bit plastic, because, you know, you can start thinking of plastic and you think about sound bars. Sound bars are all made of plastic, and I'm a fucking sound bar. I can't use a sound bar. But, like, this is structurally strong. And then the cool bit is that they built, like, the bracing inside, and it's built in a way that channels it. You can find it on the website, where there's a split, and then there's the port, which is a side port, and you can see it's filled with speaker stuff in there. The side port goes in this way through another wall, because it's a fucking 3D print. You can just make it do anything you want. So it's side ported so that you can go near wall or on wall. I have them sort of closer here to where I'm sitting. They've got the Kali sub, the 6.2 hooked up, because they do need a little help in the low end. I think maybe if I had a smaller area, this is a large area for them to try to create bass in. I think if I had a smaller area, probably they would do better on their own, because I can just unpause Mark Ribier. My pants have all the answers, ladies. Yeah, please go check out Mark Ribier's YouTube channel, because I've taken a bunch of his music and I just threw it in my playlist, because I probably won't get copyright infringement on it. And I love the man, and I just bought $200 in tickets to see him in Philly the day after Thanksgiving. So if you're in the Philly show on the 29th of November, I'll be there crowd surfing right along with Mark. So the beautiful thing about the Kali sub is I get to step on this pedal, and as long as I'm standing on it, the sub is not playing, and all the frequencies are going to this. So I could just... They lack a little bit of impact, and I think that's just because of the way they're tuned. The crossover is designed to sort of like... The whole... What I read on the page about it is they're sort of like supposed to be mellow. They're supposed to be chilled out speakers. Like, this is modern hippieism. You know, back then it was free love and growing pot. Now it's, well, no love and printing speakers. It's just like, you know what? We can make all the things. 3D printing people, and I'm putting you in a category because I know Dan. If Dan has a problem, if Dan loses a leg in a fucking tragic accident, Dan's first thought is, can I 3D print a new one? That's just what 3D printing people do. You have a whole separate brain cell that is just like, oh my God. Oh God, I mean, my bed is really uncomfortable. I should 3D print little stints to put under the mattress to level it. It's like, that's just what you do. So these were designed by people who are obviously into that mode of, I need to make something. What can I create? And I hate wood. It's got to also be you hate wood. Like, because you could make these speakers roughly as similar with wood. If you'd cut it, it would be the front, and then the port would always have to be slightly different because you'd have to put bracing in, and you wanted to give to drill a hole. So the 3D printing aspect of it, especially if they're running it on bamboo printers, you could probably plop one of these out in about 12 hours. Normally, a normal 3D printer is going to take a fucking forever. But I think if you got the settings right, you could probably just rush this thing on, especially if you have two printers going simultaneously. And then once you have it printed, you do whatever you want. And if you're going to buy the kit, use what they've got. You could even then just modify the crossover. These speakers are for someone who is interested in starting to modify and create speakers from the ground up. It's a great way to start. Because when you start building things out of wood, and it's like, if you want to modify it and try again, and you're not going to tear the wood apart. You're going to have to start from scratch. With a 3D printer, you go to your program and go, you know what? What if I made this an inch taller and an inch shallower, and I made the port this much longer? Print, and then you go to sleep. You wake up, and it's done, if your printer is set up properly. And then you could test it again. This is cool as fuck. Faraha. I skip ahead, because it's a 2-hour video. Got a didgeridoo. This is We Outside episode 5, if you want to go find the live stream. Currently sourcing this, by the way, topping DX9 onto the Orchard Star Crimson monoblocks. So that's like $3,000 and stuff to push these $420 speakers, which I almost want you to buy them for $420 just to support the cause. These feel like a cause speaker. These are not somebody's... I've been reading the website, and initially when you said, hey, I'm making $500 3D printable speakers, it's like, all right, it's a gimmick. You're ready to make money. But they sell the kit, which is just all the parts put together, and they put together the crossovers, and they want you to print it yourself. They want you to join in on the fun of making speakers. And it is fucking fun. When I built the one pair of speakers that I actually built, the kit, the only kit I've ever put together are these. The Swan DIY 3.1s. This was like a $280 kit, $300 kit. Came with a little flat pack and everything, and then I finished it with nothing. And I hated the way the tweeter was. It was too bright, so I started covering it. Now I'm using them in rear channel duty because you don't put a Swan speaker together and not use it. That's illegal. Check your state and local laws, but I'm pretty sure it's illegal. So now they're here being my back channels. And you know what? They're the best fucking back channels money can buy. It just took me... There's a whole series of videos in this channel from weeks and weeks ago. Well, let me rephrase that. From years and years ago, back in the apartment, when I put these speakers together. And if I had to just take these off of here and put them in the front, and then put a little bit of piece of felt over the goddamn tweeters so it doesn't kill me, or open it up and modify the crossover, I could probably tune those to be some of my favorite speakers of all time. They had their flaws, and they certainly don't look spectacular, because Zeos has no idea how to finish a thing. So they're done. Now take this in mind. What if you took the inspiration from these, bought a kit like that, but without the flat pack, and then 3D printed a chassis for it? Or go to any of those websites that sell speaker kits, you know, tweeters, woofers, and crossover parts, and just be like, you know what? I got the box on this. Go to Deposition Sound and be like, hey, do you guys want to help me with it? I'm sure they're interested in just spreading the love of 3D printed speakers. There's been some really wild ones I've been popped up on my YouTube feed, and it's like, hey, look, we made this one that's, 75 feet long. It's a tube, and it fits in my truck. I made a subwoofer that fits in my Tacoma, where the driver is here, and then it goes down and over and under, and all the way through the back, and then it comes up right between my balls. It's boom. Great. I don't think we need 3D printed speakers at this point. Like, it's not like you're saving hundreds of thousands of dollars because you don't have to build it out of wood. Wood isn't that rare a commodity yet. COVID wood prices were absurd, but I think we pulled through it. But this is a cool bit of technology that's going to be like, if I was doing a 3D printed speaker, if I knew how to work in CAD or even SketchUp better than I currently do, I would do the weirdest, wildest shit with my 3D printed speakers. There would be like a driver, and the driver would be sitting perfectly in like this thing. I would 3D scan the driver, whatever I'm using, and it would go in it. And then wherever the vent holes were in the back of the driver would be captured and brought out and back over a certain amount of length and volume and timing, so that the 4 quadratic front ports that are all shaped like smiling anime girl faces would all be around it. And so when the driver resets and comes back forward, it goes with it. And the tweeter would be recessed all the way in the back. And then there would be like a series of tubes like the internet that just get wider and wider and wider until the whole front around the wrapping around is where the tweeter excursions from. Because you fucking can. Because you can. By the way, these stands are on Amazon. I'll link those. Zeos, link the stands. Keep in mind, it says stands with an S, and it's going to say like, what was it, like $90? And what they mean is stand. Because I bought one, and I literally only bought one, so I had to buy another one, and it showed up like a week later. So yeah, when I link these stand, you have to buy 2. All right, sound of the speakers, because I'm talking about the rationality of the speaker and why you would 3D print it, but let's get to the actual DPSM5 speaker. Yes, what they've designed in it, yes, at this distance, which I feel like is their happy distance, I had them way back there and they weren't doing much. Then I brought them a little bit more forward. I was turning them up, and I feel like there's a minimum volume that these speakers are the happiest. And it's actually they're pretty punchy when you get them in there. But imaging is spectacular. Hearing Mark.
When am I gonna stop thinking about you? Yeah. What's up? How you doing, baby?
I'm so glad I could play some music at least. Thank you, Mark. Mark, I'm going to get you to sign a thing. I'll pay you whatever.
That's a nice amount of
This is the one I've been playing before. Hold on. So this is a violin that just showed up on the streets of Manhattan. See, right here, the tweeter's not bothering me. Some songs, the tweeter gets a bit too sharp. And this is literally a fucking violin, so it should be as sharp as it's going to get. But it's soft enough and subtle enough. The crossover design is... I'll praise the shit out of these guys for the crossover design. Because the blending between the driver and the tweeter is as good as any higher-end speaker I've listened to. That's with the sub kicking in, so hold on. And that's without the sub. Doesn't affect any of the treble, but... And even that is not... It's just enough. They're a subtle... They speak to you. If this is the way you were setting up, you were doing like a soft near field, which I'll do a whole video on what soft near field is, I'm sure, at some point. But just like... You're just here in this like area, this general vicinity, with the sound, and it's all good. And I think you could even reverse the speakers and have the port, instead of the port being on the outside, bring the port to the inside, which would involve me unsnapping those plastic inserts, which is just, they're just plastic, and you just pop them out. And then you might have a little better bass response if like you're on a desk, or you're in a smaller room. You could move the ports around. Yeah, the imaging is perfect, by the way. In case I haven't mentioned that again, because I'm talking about it, but the imaging, like, crossover, the building crossover network in the center, will do, obviously, the split between the two drivers. They had to pick the right drivers, and then you have to design the crossover to handle the frequencies going to each one of the things, and then if you want to have it, the efficiency levels at different power inputs, they can't like chase each other away. You can't turn up the volume of the treble, just get to 1,000,000. You got to have it so that it's kind of hard designing a crossover. There's a lot of stuff to let you do it now. A lot of digital, you tell it what driver you have, the specs of it, the specs of the box, and you can work it backwards. So this is like reviewing someone's project speaker that they're proud of. And I have to figure out why they're proud of it without them being here to tell me. And this is what they're going for. They're clean as fuck. If you were going to try to do a home theater, the clips I mentioned at the beginning of the video would be better for that. These you have to love to touch things. You got to either want to print it yourself, or you got to buy a 3D printed thing and maybe tweak it or modify it. Maybe go in there and say, you know what, I think I want to change this. You could buy them just straight up. Just support the cause of like any company that's trying to do something new and innovative. But I think you're going to enjoy them more if you actually are the nerd you need to be. The 3D printing nerd. And then you're going to buy the kit and you're going to 3D print it by yourself. And you're going to be like, no. I got that translucent rainbow fucking filament that I'm going to throw in my machine and I'm going to get these things to be awesome. Or you go in there and modify it, add more bracing if you want. You make it like you could actually just have it do the print bracing and leave it in there for funsies. Now let's see what this other one is. I haven't played this one yet. Just hearing the people talking in the background, and it's obviously a mono mic because they're perfectly centered and far away.
No, you can stay in the camera. It's all right. Wave to the camera. They're right there. Hey, everybody.
Hi, Mark.
Say hey to everybody.
Yeah, no, I can take my foot off the pedal now. I think $420 for the amount of filament they're using and to have their designs out there is not a bad price for these speakers. I think the majority of people who are watching this video are going, $220 to get all the drivers and everything, and all I got to do is hit print on my machine, and they'll give me the files. I think the majority are going to do that. I think if you're just a normal person and you're just looking for normal speakers, these are not your speakers. Unless you want to spend $420 and get a cool set of 3D printed speakers. It's the same reason people buy the Cybertruck. Cybertruck sucks, though, apparently. But it's because you wanted something quirky and interesting to talk about when you park it in the parking lot. And it looked kind of badass. I kind of wanted one. If I did a wrap on the Cybertruck, it would be full... Hold on. Echo. Turn on Narberth RGB. That. The purple fucking neon around every edge of my Cybertruck. And I'd be that asshole. Those will be a Hey Go Girl wrap on it somewhere. These speakers are sort of in that same vein, but less Elon Musky. More like I just want something that stands out as being different and new. And I want to scare I want to scare those wood dwellers. Get you some plastic speakers. The tonality of them, which is another thing, I would need to... Here's an interesting quest I will set before you. Someone buy this kit. Someone buy the kit, and someone buy a completely made set with plastic. And then someone build the boxes out of wood. Put these drivers with their crossover settings and the port size in it. Build a wooden box, and then listen and compare between the plastic box and the wooden box. That's the real test. If I was a real YouTuber, not just some asshole who reviewed things... I would make one video every month, and that would be one of the videos. It would be like, we're comparing plastic boxes to wooden boxes to see what sounds better. Because that's when the dampening and all the other little quirks that over 100 years of making speakers people have come up with. This is all new. Anyway, I'm going to continue listening to Mark.
Hey, everybody.
What's up? Skipping. Damn. Much praise to that Cali sub as well. Like they got their logo 3D printed into it because fucking Bamboo Labs. And this is nice and recessed so they can ship it properly. It's a nice design. They haven't gone completely boring with it. I'm assuming you could also sand this down and because the way I had the lighting here, it's very it's very I'm just gonna mute that. You could see all the marks in the front of the speaker here from where it was printed, but if you to pick this up or light it differently, they sort of go away. But yeah, you can tell it's a 3D printed speaker. It's the weirdest thing ever. And it's got some weight to it. It's not like, oh, it weighs nothing. They're doing a job with it. They're definitely doing the job with it. What if I could use them outside? Are they waterproof? Can I use them outside? Are they waterproof? Probably not. Anyway. Once again, go see Mark Ribier. Buy his tickets. I'm going to link to the website that has these. I may link directly to just the main homepage because there's actually two other models they make. There's a really quirky looking smaller one. Hold on. Where are you? Get over here. Yeah. Where's home? Oh, Jesus Christ. I did a bad. There's the FDM Geo. Apparently there's the FDM4, which is coming soon. These are the FDM5. Where's the FDM Geo? You know, I'm just going to go to the shop. Back. Okay, so. FDM4, print it yourself. Really weird looking. Those are like eggs with little legs. Then you have the printed yourself this setup. Then you have the FDM Geo printed yourself for the same price. So there are these. There are the Geos, which have much more angularity going on in the fascia, which is kind of cool. And I think they use a different tweeter. I don't know if it's the same tweeter or a different tweeter. I would personally go with different tweeters if they're building it. But yeah, that's a slightly more complex looking box. And again, you could buy it fully assembled for $420. So either one of these. Is it only the GeoD? Let me read product details. It may only be... No, they give you, by the way, they give you a nice list of all the things you could use with it. They're not even affiliate links. I would make them affiliate links if I was them. That's what she's all over. A heat gun, a crimping tool, Kraken Bond Wow CA glue, I actually might need some Kraken Bond YLCA glue. Hold on. $23 for a 6-pack. You know what? That's not bad, because every time I use any like crazy glue, it just dries up. So getting like a 6-pack for $40 is a 6-pack. That might be worth it. Anyway, you can link to that. Go to their page and click them. I'm done. You're done. There's your speakers, black and red. And there's your wallpaper and the wallpaper horde. And of course, Mark is here to let everyone know. Yeah, that's the thing. I don't know how to put a price on a speaker like this. I don't know if it should be worth $250 or $500 or $1,500. Like, or am I supposed to close my eyes? Like the fact that there's effort put into it, granted it's not handmade, but it was certainly designed and engineered in a way that it fits together. It's got a little fucking fur coming out of it. It's fine. It's fine. These are quirky as shit, and I love it. And you should love it too. Patreon and Subscribe Star support this channel, $5 a month. See reviews early. Participate in yard sales. Lossless sound demos, which I've already sound demoed these a while ago. And I just put them on the side, and I just haven't gotten around to like talking about them. I think I was waiting for these stands to show up. They're the perfect height. Oh, and the fourth thing now, when you're a $5 patron, is I will be putting out a monthly questionnaire post where, throw me a question, and I will make either a private video or a private live stream where I answer that question. If you do $10 a month, you get to the private behind-the-scenes Telegram chat where I answer your questions all the time, immediately on Telegram. So if you want to ask me questions immediately, you can get in that chat. If you want to ask me questions just every once in a while, $5 a month gets you into that. Also, the $10 chat, you get into a lifetime swap meet channel to buy, sell, and trade gear. Check out Hi-Fi Guides and the Hi-Fi Guides forum. More likely the forum. The guides are broken, is old. But yeah, and I don't know. What are we doing with 3D printed speakers, man? This shit's wild. This is wild.
Yeah.
This is worth it right here. Right there.